بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. First of all, I would like to extend you the Islamic greeting. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's an honor to be here presenting the 13th lecture of the leadership class. Dear students and my dear fellows, I have been explaining the leading and motivating topic. We have talked about the differences and the similarities and the combination of the leading and motivating. We said that motivating is part of the leading, because in the leadership, if there is no motivation, the leading is actually not successful. The person isn't called a successful leader. That's why leading is something that is actually including motivation in it. We do not need to explain each and every point as we have already explained it. That's why I have just given you a snapshot of what we have studied in the previous classes. So motivation is also discussed. We have talked about the actually the factors that are making people motivated in the organization or in a society. There are very little differences in the motivation in a society, in a political system, in an organization, because the politics of each and every community and sector differs. The politics in the family is different, in the society is different, in the government is different, in the organization is different. In the organization it's more formal, more official stuff, while if you talk about the leadership in a family, in a society, it relates not more than formalities and official things, but it is like more of emotions, trust, logic, cooperation, and etc. So you see, you can only make the bigger differences, you can relate it to each other in the descriptions and in the very deep points that are available in them. So the first thing we have studied that actually we are motivating those people mostly who are reporting to us, who are responsible to us, to whom we are responsible to answer about them. So the first thing is to respect them, to listen to them. Listening to them, answering their questions will actually provide solutions to the problems that the organization have or has. Now the second thing is to let them to understand the priorities, to prioritize the work actually. Whatever is important, to keep that in the first position while the others are in the second. I'm not talking about the daily activities, the routine activities. The routine activities are different than the important activities. So routine or regular and daily activities you have to do it each and every day. Like for example, as a human resource manager, your daily routine activity is to take the attendance sheet or attendance. But when there is an important activity assigned to you by the supervisor, by the CEO or the manager, you have to give priority to the important activities than the routine activities sometimes. Okay, so the other point was explain and train. You have to explain to the employees the importance of the work. You have to train them sometimes in order to understand how things work and how they can prioritize their activities and how they can work effectively. So that was the last point we studied, was let people work. Now when you have trained, explained, you have let them understand the importance of the work, you have found out what is important to them, now let them work. Do not interfere, do not disturb them. Let them work, assign the activity, and do not go into the details of each and every thing. Only show them what is important and why it is important. That's what, as a supervisor, you can do. Then leave them to do that work. Do not go into the descriptions, into the details. Focus on the result, on the output of the work. So the main point that we will be discussing today is be generous with employees in praise and recognition. We have also discussed this point to some extent. We should praise the employee in order in order for them to be motivated. Without praise, without thank you, without bonus or physical praising, etc., you cannot be actually very much efficient and effective towards the employee. That's why even sometimes the only word thank you, you are awesome, you're doing the work in a very good way, extraordinarily brilliant, you are wonderful, the work was wonderful, you are for example, you are appreciated, or this work is appreciated, etc. These all adjectives are actually very much effective for the employees to be motivated actually, or recognizing them. And it is not good to actually force employees actually do things that make them tired, boredom, or tired of the organization sometimes. Now the seventh point that we are making is expect excellence. You see, this is a very important point. If you do praise the employees, if you do praise them, then you can expect excellence. So in terms of from the employees and in terms from the employer itself. You see, it says that after motivation and praise, this factor is very important. Now you praise the employees, you allowed them how to work, you actually give them the training, the explanation on the work. Now, as a supervisor, as an employer, you have the right to actually expect excellence and expect the work to be done properly. That is one view and understanding of this point. The other understanding is that employees are also expecting excellence from the organization. They're actually trying to work for an organization that is going towards an achievement or a successful operation, or successful projects are implemented in the organization. The employees are actually working in an organization where their work is effective, where their work can put some effort. Think about organizations like Google, Apple, or for example Samsung, and etc. The employees working there are actually expecting excellence because they're working in a top-rated organization, in a world-class organization. Or employees working in a five-star restaurant or hotel are thinking differently than employees who are working in a simple small cafeteria or a small hut. You see, that's the understanding. If the employer is expecting excellence, the employee do have the right to expect excellence, to expect the organization to be top rated in a very successful. Let's take another example. If you are given an offer, two offers at the same time, to work in two companies, for example. One is a local company, local Afghan company, organized by one or two men working in Afghanistan only. And think about an organization that is working in Afghanistan, but it's actually an organization whose main branch is, for example, in Turkey and in Europe, one of the European countries, or in USA. You see, you will directly choose the second one because you work for a top or a world-class organization. That's the excellence you are expecting from an organization. So that's very important for the employees. Employees never want to work in an organization which is a failure actually, or which is going towards a failure. یک چند سال پیش یک از دوستای ما از یک از بانک‌ها کار میکرد. وضعیت او بانک خراب شدنی بود، یعنی طرف وضعیتش خوب نبود، خراب میشد روزانه دیگه. او هم کوشش میکرد که یک وظیفه مناسب پیدا کنه، نه به خاطر اینکه او رو رخصت میکرد، اما بس منظر و تاریخچه و امی چیزای چی که است ارگانیزیشن او زیر سوال می آمد و او نمیخواست که در یک ارگانیزیشن کار کنه که او ارگانیزیشن خدا نخواسته بدنام شوه، یا کدام ریکارد داشته باشه در سارون والی، یا کدام دیگه قضیه که باعث بدنامی کریر و آینده این نفر شوه. So this is a very important point to understand. If you are unable to understand the purpose and background of the excellence and why excellence is important in an organization, you wouldn't be able to be successful. So excellence is expected both by the employee and by the employer itself. Now the eighth point that we are making today is about caring about people and showing the care to them. You see, as a leader, you are actually not only leading others by training, explaining, and motivating them. You are actually thinking about their life, helping them out while they are in dire need of, for example, family issues, household issues and concerns, or, for example, social problems, or let's say economical or financial problems. These are all part of the life, and each and every employee have a different social status. Maybe he is rich, maybe he is in a medium category, or maybe he is a very poor person, or he has like a very large joint family system, or for example he has other issues and concerns. As a leader, successful leaders are actually trying to figure out the problems that the employees do have in an organization. They actually think about their problems. They actually try to lend a hand in solving the problems that the employees have in the organization. So that is very important. You actually have to, as we said, you have to listen to the questions that employees do have. You should actually pay attention to what employees are actually saying to you. This is very important. You see, sometimes there are different categories of people, different types of people working in each and every organization, and their way of thinking, their way of understanding things is different than the understanding you have. For example, sometimes management or the top level managers have a lot of load on their shoulders, and they are like stressed out because of the work that they are doing in the organization or even in the community. Sometimes very little people who are not as much as educated as the top level manager or management is, but sometimes they come up with very good ideas, extraordinary ideas that they can, these ideas can change the organization's concept, or can take the organization into a revenue or a surplus position. You see, that is why you have to allow each and every employee to give you ideas. I was working with one of the universities in Kabul. I was working as an official worker or formal worker of the organization. I was teaching there sometimes as well. So they had a vice president of the administration. You see in the universities we have the chancellor, CEO, we have the vice president academic, Mawini Ilmi, and vice president administration, Mawini Dori. So one of these three people in the management was very frank person. He was allowing all employees or different employees to have a gathering with him and share their problems and concerns that they have about their lives, and even inside the organization, politics, and etc. But at the same time, this top level manager who was working in the top level management of that university was also a very frank person. He was not like a hypocrite. He wouldn't listen from one and deliver it to the others, but he was listening, and after the listening he was helping, sometimes helping people with cash, sometimes helping people with giving them free advice and consultations. You see, this is also something that is helping out in giving the employees a satisfaction, and telling them to be patient and everything will be all right. Please let us know if we can do something for you, and things like that. So these free consultations do work as a miracle, because employees are not like machines, or employees are not like animals. They are human beings. Human beings, besides have financial needs, financial problems, they do have emotions. and they do have like issues, family problems. They do have positive points, they do have negative points, and they have expectations and etc. So as a human resource manager or as a leader, you have to understand what employees should be treated in under what circumstances, and the nature of each and every employee in their behaviors are different than the others. One employee thinks differently than the other employee. That's why you have to have a different treatment with each and every employee. You have to care about each and every of them based on their understanding. You have to be an audience oriented person. You have to read minds, you have to understand. For example, one employee is very emotional, and you are telling him emotional things, and he becomes upset and he leaves your organization, or he becomes upset with the organization. You see, you have to look at the situation of each and every employee, look at the mind, look at the understanding, look at the behavior, and behave according to that, not behave on what and how you think. So that's the point that we have to understand. Thinking about the employees, thinking them as your family members, and listening to them, trying to lend a hand in solving their problems, is a part of the leadership, and that would be an amazing thing to take advantage of and to understand. So the strongest leaders actually, they are available to people and their ideas all the times. They do provide them time. They do provide an opportunity for direct reports, for listening to them, and for even listening to the employees when they are having a tight schedule and very busy. So even if as a top level manager, as a leader, you have a very tight schedule, but you have to find some time for the employees to talk to. If you want to keep, if you were customers, if you were working as in a production company or any other company, and you are providing services to people, if you want to keep those customers happy, the first thing is you have to keep your employees happy. Your employees are key factors that can lead your organization towards success. Your employees are actually playing a blood relationship, a blood role, as a blood role, which is blood playing a role in the body of a human being, a very important role in the organization. They can make your employees happy if you make them happy. You see, so that's like a 50-50 understanding that you should have. Make your employees happy, make them satisfied, keep them happy, keep them satisfied. Only then your customers will be happy. So the first thing you can do is to listen to everyone in the organization. Listen to them. Listening does not require money to spend. It's free of cost. God gave you ears to listen. Ears are for listening. They are not for keeping them closed. So leaders in our countries, like these developing nations, they are good speakers. They are not actually listening to their followers. So that's why they say that listening is an art, and everybody does not have it. So you have to have this art of listening to people. If you do have it, people will love to talk to you because you are actually giving them time. So be a good listener. A leader should be a good listener. Leader should talk, but they should listen more than they talk. You see? Make time to talk with your staff about things beyond the immediate tasks at hand. So sometimes you would need to provide time beyond the fixed timing stuff in the organization. This also means that sometimes you have a talk, a discussion with your employees on official issues, on official tasks that you have provided them with. For example, your employer is or leader is assigning you a work to perform it immediately or in a fixed time period. But caring doesn't only mean you only talk about available work in activity that you have that you have assigned to your employees, but it sometimes also means that things that are beyond the official work should be listened to. As I have given you example of a person listening to the problems of each and every employee, and every employee would go and talk about their problems easily to the leader and to the top level manager in the organization. هدف از این قرار است که همیشه بحث ما شما من حیث رهبر امرای کارمندا و فالوورای خود همیشه باید بحث‌های رسمی و مربوطه کارهای دفتر و سازمان یا نهاد ما نباشه. یگان وقت ما میتونیم که بحث‌های بدون ازی داشته باشیم، یعنی مشکلاتی که کارمندا دارن، مثال درباره مشکلات اقتصادیشان، مالیشان، مشکلات فامیلی و در جامعه که زندگی میکنن، میتونیم که ما برایشان بحث داشته باشیم، یک پیاله چای که ما بخورن و مشکلات خود بگن و ما ورسم یگان مشوره بتیم اگر کدام کمک دیگه کرده میتونیم او را ما میتونیم که برایشان انجام بدیم. So that's actually this point. The other thing is pay attention. So that is like a very related issue with the other points. When you are allowing them to sit with you, you are listening to them, it means you are paying attention to what they say. Listening doesn't mean that you are actually the employees with you in the organization, but you are busy with your Facebook, social media stuff, Twitter. Okay, like he's talking and you say, okay, just a second, and you are tweeting something, you are posting something on Facebook, and then when he talks again and you are replying to a comment of a person who replied on your who have commented on your Facebook post or who or the Twitter tweet. So you see, this is very important. When you are listening to them, pay 100% attention. Put the laptop into a separate place. کامپیوترتان وصول کنین، موبایلتان وصول کنین، قلمتان وصول کنین، 100% متوجه شوین که کارمند شما که در دفتر برایتان کار میکنه چی میگه. اگر شما در کامپیوتر خود مصرف کنین، موضوع ببینین و فکر میکنه که برای ما متوجه نیست و ما به هیچ ارزش قائل نیست. دیگه این بسیار مهم است که ما با کارمندای خود با یک ارزش قائل باشیم و با فرصتی را بدهیم که با مشکلات خود بگوییم. فقط گوش کردن نیست، بلکه توجه دادن و دقیق 100% متوجه بودن این هم بسیار مهم است. And when you pay attention, then you actually move your head like in the correct direction, that yes, you understand what you are saying, and you can show your care not by only moving your head, but sometimes giving the employees advices, consultations, and telling them that you actually care about what they said, and then you start helping them in the problem. For example, the problem is something that your employee has some issues in the government. For example, issues of bill payment, or for example, the house rent. Or he cannot find a house, or he has found a house but there are problems between two people on the house. So what you can do is, like for example, you can call someone that you know in the government to help your employee. You can pay him some amount of money. One of my friend, I gave you an example, he is a very religious guy. He said that he had a problem. He left his job and he had like more than 10 years of experience in the banking sector. He said his son was very much sick, seriously sick, that he needed more than 5 lakh Afghanis to spend on, up to 10 lakh Afghanis. He had a heart problem. He needed to have a heart surgery. عملیات قلب باید برشان انجام میدادن. And he said he was like he couldn't find any money. He did not have money. One of the bank's CEOs, or I can call it a leader, who was even having a conventional bank, بانک یک سودی داشت، بازم به این نفر زنگ زده، برش گفته که بیا که شیشتن، گفته که چرا اینجا آمدی؟ گفت که من از مجبوریت آمدم و اینجا یک طفل من مریض است. گفت که چقدر مصرف سرش میاد؟ گفت که تا 8 لک تا 10 لک روپا مصرف میاد، بیشتر از 5 لک بود. که دقیق مقدارش از یادم رفته. فازو رئیس بانک برش گفته که یعنی پیسه را مبارک میدم. برایگان هیچ کدام قرض مرز هیچ چیزم نبود، یک همکاری که تشان کرد پیسه برشان داد، گفت که برو عملیات بچه انجام بده. یعنی اون نفرم خوش شد. نه باز ما احسانمند یک نفر میشیم به خاطر که او امرای ما همکاری میکنه. هدف از این قرار است که not only listening is important, not only paying attention is good. You should give him a advice and some help that you can do as a leader. So these were basically the points we discussed. Expect excellence from the employees, or the employees are expecting excellence from you. Care about what people do and show them, and also be generous. Besides generosity is very important, to be generous with the employees, praise what they do, motivate them, and also listen to them, pay attention and help them in whatever manner you can do in order to achieve or have their trust in the future, and in order to develop good relationship, and in order to make them be thankful of what you did with them. So that was all about our today's lecture, lecture number 13th. In the coming lecture we will be discussing 2 other points, 2 to 3 points about motivating your employees. Inshallah, I hope that the lecture was easy for you. If you do have queries, please do share with me in the WhatsApp groups. I will be glad to answer to your queries. Thank you very much, and jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.